Hey everybody, it's Grant, and today we are diving into how to build credit in your teens. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you the ultimate beginner's guide to building your credit in just 4 easy steps. As I've shared with you in my past few weeks of videos, credit is an essential part of all of our lives unless you're going to pay cash for everything you do or unless you're able to pay cash for everything that we do. If you've actually ever wanted to be involved in real estate, you can use leverage to actually build your portfolio. And that leverage is all because of credit. Leverage allows you to buy more real estate faster with less of your actual money. So now let's get into how to build credit in your teens. But before we do that, please don't forget to power up that like button, hit that subscribe button, and notification bell. I promise you, by powering up that like button, there's no minimum credit to actually do this. So it's 100% free and there's no interest charged. The first step to building credit in your teens, you have to learn how to handle money. By learning how to handle money, you can develop good spending, but more importantly, good saving habits. By doing this, you will get a head start on even some way older than you adults that have still never learned this skill. By learning how to budget and spend less than you make, that'll allow you to save, and by saving, you can invest in your future and make all of those goals come true. A good way to do this is to actually get a teen money account from Capital One. Chase actually offers something very similar, as well as Chase offers the beginner credit guide that'll help you learn what credit is and figure out how to get that great score. Utilizing these types of programs, you can actually develop good spending habits, and it's actually something you can do when you're 17 or younger. Don't forget, this is a teen money account. It's for you. Step number 2. Find a way to build a credit score. In my last few videos, I have gone over this in detail on how to actually build a credit score. So in today's video, let's briefly touch on these. When you're new and starting out, most people say, I have no idea how to build my credit score. But understand, for this, you have plenty of options. The first option that I've shared with you in the past is you can actually get overdraft protection that acts like a line of credit. This is actually how I started my credit score out. It cost me absolutely $0, and in no time, I was a 740 credit score. Another way to build your credit is to get on a responsible, once again, a responsible parent or guardian's credit card. This is not just getting on the credit card in name, but actually being a co-owner of this credit card. You might not actually get one to be able to swipe it to spend a bunch of money, but what you will get is the history off of them paying it, charging it, paying it off, and building that credit score. Getting your foot in the door is all we're after you to do, and understand the reason I use the words responsible is because if they let the card go back in default, if they miss minimum payments, or if they max out the card and don't pay it off, then guess what? All of those things will negatively impact your credit versus help it. Another great option is a student unsecured credit card. By just having a student ID and being above the age of 18, you can qualify to get a student unsecured credit card. This will allow you to get your foot in the door and get a very small limit card that will allow you to build on your future. If you'd like to hear more information on this topic, I actually have 2 videos that I'm going to link in the description below if you'd like more information. Step 3, learn how to keep your score high. The first thing that we need to do when learning to keep our score high is pay our bills on time. By paying all of your loans on time, you will build up a solid credit history that'll help you all through the future. The next thing, never let a payment go past 30 days. Did you know that if you missed a simple credit card payment, it'll affect your score up to 15 to 80 points? Also, if you miss a car payment, 90 to 150 points for just one. And if you miss a mortgage payment, it's the same, 90 to 150 points that it'll drop your score, and that will definitely hurt you. One of the biggest ones that you have to avoid is never default on a loan. In the event that you have a credit card bill that's just so high, that's what we say, pay them off at the end of every month. But if you let it just grow and grow and grow, and I'm gonna pay it off next month, and then you let the card go back to the bank. Or if you have a car or a home that you let get back repossessed, that will follow you for the next 7 years on your credit report, which definitely won't do you any favors when you're looking at rates. And that's even if you get approved at all. One of the simplest but most effective ways to actually keep your credit score high is to keep your credit inquiries to a minimum. Not only is pulling your credit numerous amounts of time going to hurt your actual score, but by pulling your credit a ton makes lenders extremely nervous. Let's say that you went to Lowe's and pulled your credit but didn't get a Lowe's card. That now loan officer is looking at your credit score and they're like, well, why did they pull their credit at Lowe's and not get the Lowe's card? What is Lowe's seeing on this person that I'm missing? And that actually could cost you your approval. So make sure that you're only gonna actually pull your credit when you're 100% sure that this is what you're gonna buy and that is the bank you're gonna go through. An example of this would be, let's say that you have a $1,000 credit card and that's all you have. And you spend $600 of that $1,000 credit limit on this card. That means you've now spent 60% of your entire credit utilization. Understand, if you go above 30 and 40% of credit utilization, your score will now be affected. The last thing I want to go over with keeping your credit score high is length of credit. If you open an account as a younger person, do not cancel that account. Keep it open for the long haul because it'll ultimately help you in the future. I can speak from experience. When I was in my mid-20s, I canceled my overdraft protection that I literally started my entire credit for. That was the oldest line of credit I had, and it impacted my credit negatively. It didn't hurt me a ton, but my credit would still be stronger to this day if I still had that just sitting there, that length of credit that just shows that I can take care of business for a very long time. Step 4, level up your credit score. You can actually do this a few different ways. The first way that I'll go over though, you can actually get more credit cards. This will actually open up your available credit and raise your credit score. Understand, only do this if you're going to just spend what you are normally going to spend. If you're unable to control yourself because you're going to force yourself to spend that $3,000 in the first 3 months to get that big reward point bonus, don't do this. Stay away from it. There's other ways I can help you boost and level up your credit score. The next thing that you can do to level up your credit score is to increase your limited credit. Someone with an 800 credit score but only has a $700 high credit, which is the most they've ever borrowed, would be considered limited in credit. The only way to fix a limited credit score is to borrow a little bit more money each and every time. Now, once again, I sound like a broken record, but only do this if you are already planning on buying or borrowing a little bit more. For example, whenever I was 18 years old, I bought my first half of a duplex. I bought it for $96,000 and I was on pace that year to make 75 grand selling cars. Now, please understand, without that limited credit score, without getting that overdraft protection in my name, I would have never gotten lucky and actually got approved. So understand, you heard in a previous video where Zach, my very good childhood friend who did the exact same way through the exact same bank and got virtually the exact same score, got to buy his first truck when he was like 20 years old, and that's all he had on his credit score. Sometimes you just need a nice score, good income, to get your foot in the door to be able to get that bigger purchase. Now let's go over one last step. Let's call it the bonus step. Remember earlier when I talked about credit utilization and I used the credit card where the person had a $1,000 credit limit as an example? Well, let's say that they had a $1,000 credit limit, but they also spent $1,000 on the credit card and let it get reported that way and didn't pay it off at the end of the month, like we keep telling you in all of our videos. This can drop your credit score by over 100 points just overnight if you let it get reported and you don't pay it off at the end of every month. A lot of my credit tips come from personal issues that I've had in the past. Guess what? This happened to me. I never was explained credit. I didn't understand it. I had to learn with getting some bumps on my head. I had a credit card that might have been a $600 limit. Like, it was really small. And what ended up happening is I had full pull on it. So when I was 19, building my first duplex, Chase Bank, I remember Mr. Joey's my banker, and he called me and he says, "Grant, your credit's perfect, but your rate's gonna be like 4 point something%. And I said, Mr. Joey, that's going to throw a wrench in things because you told me I was pre-approved for whatever it was, probably somewhere in the 3.8 range, because that's where it was for a very long time until recent times where credit is at its historic lows. So you want to have the best credit score to get that sweet 2 point. I heard someone got a 2.2 from Kayla's closing recently. That's crazy. But literally, he couldn't find anything wrong with my credit, but he goes, Grant, you have a credit card that's at the limit. I said, Mr. Joey, if I pay that credit card off and we wait a month and it re-reports, will I get that good rate again? He says, yes, sir, you will. I called the bank that I had the construction loan with. They said, no problem. Waited 30 days, paid that credit card off, and set. Sure enough, I got my amazing prime rate after I paid that stinking credit card off. But that credit card could have cost me a whole lot more than just that amount. That credit card was going to cost me over 1.5% for the next 30 years. You got to be smart with this stuff. You got to be responsible, or it could hurt you in the long run versus help you. So you don't have to be surprised by these things. You can actually get things like Mint.com now. Mint.com or the Mint app. I use the Mint app. It tells me what my credit score is. It lets me know if it goes up, if it goes down. So please, actually, I'll try and drop a link in the description, or you can go to your app store and get Mint. It's not sponsored by Mint by any means, but it's something that I use, so I think you should as well. So my experienced pro tip right here would be, if you were ever in the market to buy something, make sure that you pay all of your credit cards down to 0 or substantially below 30% before you go and pull your credit to buy that item. If you're going to buy a vehicle or if you're going to buy a home, that could be with you into the next 6, 7 years or 15 to 30 years. So make sure you are setting yourself up to win and not to fail. That being said, that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed bonus tips like that and all of those steps to building and keeping your credit strong. I really hope that you do this in your teens, in your older age, whatever may come across, right? Even there's a lot of 31-year-olds and 32-year-olds that are my age that might not have the credit score that they're looking for. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that you will power up that like button, hit that subscribe button, and notification bell. We post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I would love to see you there. Also, remember that I 100% believe in you. I know you can do anything that you set your mind to, and never let anyone tell you any differently. While also paying all your credit cards off at the end of every month. Hope you have a fantastic afternoon, and I will see you with an 800 credit score on the next one.